So welcome back to the show. This is Interviews with Charles Shambry, Prince Charles, and also in-depth interviews with KBOO Radio. I have on the show Nafisa Fai. Nafisa Fai is running for the Washington County Commissioner District 1. Nafisa, how's it going, my friend?
Good. Hi, Charles. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to interview with you. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to see you again. I think the last time we saw each other was at your kickoff, I think it was.
Yeah, November, almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Time.
Yeah, so a lot of colorful people. You got a lot of good friends and people that support you. And I think before that, we interviewed together on TV Toastmasters when I was the president. I had a one-year term, and I think it was towards the end of my term as president. And I had the privilege of interviewing you, and I felt like I encouraged you to run. I felt like I didn't encourage you to run for county commission. She's laughing. She's smiling. Okay, anyway. So I'm glad you're here. When we had a conversation, oh, here we go. Anyway, the piece is awesome. I appreciate you very much. I'm glad that you can be on my show and also on KBOO Radio. I'm so glad that you're here. Yeah, so let's get into it. I know that you work with American Red Cross, with the county government as a public health professional. Tell me how that would help you out at the county level. Why would that be useful for you? Or for us, rather, in Washington County?
Yes. For me, being a public health professional, or actually working for the American Red Cross, was a dream as a little girl. I was born and raised in Somalia and lived as a refugee in refugee camps in Kenya. And when I was a little girl in the refugee camp, I always dreamed that when I go to America, I would either work for the American Red Cross or the United Nations. And come to find out, American Red Cross was here in Oregon, and I was lucky enough to work there for nearly a decade. And then I transitioned to working for a local county health department and as a public health professional, and actually was on the response team for the MERS outbreak when that happened in 2013. I learned a lot, the importance of how do we protect the health of our community, and also how do we respond to pandemic. So I'm really excited to bring that lens and that experience and background to help Washington County move forward and also really help heal our county from this pandemic, this economic crisis. And I'm really excited to roll up my sleeves in center public health at the commission and on the board of commissioners. So I'm excited, and in terms of what that means, it means that the not only my district but the commission gains a public health professional, and will bring a value adding insights and inputs on how to move forward and how do we come out of this pandemic, of this economic crisis. And I'm really excited to center voices and communities who are disproportionately impacted by this COVID-19. So I'm looking forward to that. And also it will be the first time that I think we have a public health professional on the commission. So I'm really excited to be adding that experience as well on the Board of Commissioners in Washington County.
So Nafisa, if elected, you would be the first woman of color. What does this mean to you, and how will you increase diversity at the county level?
It means a lot to me, and I'm honored. Of course, when I first put my name in the hat to run for this seat, I did not know that I was going to be the first ever to be elected at this Board of Commissioners in Washington County. And because this is also, a little history about Washington County. it's a county that was founded in the early 1800s, and it's also one of the most diverse counties in Oregon. I think that, our community, our people in Washington County, everyone, it's ready for change. They're ready for a new perspective. They're ready to have communities who've been left behind of these conversations to have a seat at the table and to elect me, and I'm honored to carry forward. When I decided to run for this seat, I had a goal of running a community mobilizing campaign. And I'm excited to say and honored to say that we stayed true to that goal and have engaged so many people. I've talked to so many people before COVID-19. I've knocked so many doors, and I've heard people say, "You want my vote?" I'm so honored. I've talked to people who from my own district that gave me $5, $10, $50 because they believed in my vision and they believed in the change that needs to happen in Washington County. So I'm, yes, I will be the first person of color to be elected on the Board of Commissioners in Washington County, but also I bring a public health lens for the first time. So I think it's exciting times in so many levels, and I think it will center diversity, vulnerable communities, in policy conversations, just merely because of me sitting there and identities visibly present in the board. So I'm excited and look forward to making a drastic impact in conversations that are around equity, public health, and how do we deal with this pandemic and the economic crisis.
Great. All good stuff. So what would you say is the biggest difference between you and your opponent? And then why should we vote for you? Like, what makes you so special, Nafisa? Why should we vote for you?
Because, I'm running on a track record of things I've done for not only our county and not our community, but also statewide as well. So I'm really running on a track record of helping our community, whether it's public health, whether it's business. The biggest difference, and even to take a step back and say, my opponent and I both worked for a county government, so we have that common experience. But in addition to that, I bring public health lens that we haven't had at the board commission level, and I also bring business ownership. I'm the only candidate that has dealt with 2 pandemics that is a public health professional. I'm also the only candidate that knows what's like to start a business, because I started my own business and helped other businesses, and look forward to bringing that experience and empowering people like myself to start businesses in Washington County and be a voice for businesses in Washington County at the board level, large and small businesses. So I bring to that in addition to that. So, I'm really looking forward to my nearly decade at the Red Cross in county government as a public health person and a small business owner who've helped other businesses whether increase their revenues or help grow their business. I'm excited to bring those lens in addition. So I would say those are the biggest difference.
Okay. Well, Nafisa, you've mentioned reimagining public safety. What does that mean to you?
Yes, as a mom of 3 Black boys, this issue is really dear to my heart. And really, it's what keeps me up at night. I want my kids to prosper and feel safe and grow and contribute significantly to their communities and really just live as long as and have see their kids to kids. And with the way right now and this war seems like not a war, but like what's going on in our country and around law enforcement and Black men, it really worries me, and I really want, as an elected person, to create pathway forward together to make sure that my kids are safe, and any mom do not lose their kids in the hands of law enforcement. So I really care about this issue, and really want to work together to create an improvement plan of healing together as a community. Public safety only works if the public feels safe by the elements that are contributing to public safety. So I think if the public doesn't feel safe by law enforcement, we really can't have public safety then. So I think reimagining to me means having a public safety that works for everyone. That when, like, if there's any break in your house, the first thing you think about is, I'm going to call the police. But imagine if you have to stop and say, oh, which risks do I have to take? Calling the police or having them, a robber hurt me? So I think that's really, it's something that I think about a lot, and communities of color, a decision that a lot of people have to pause. And I think it's wrong. I think when somebody breaks into your house, you should feel comfortable and safe to be able to say, I'm going to call the police, and to be able to be helped and not harmed by the people that's supposed to keep you safe. So I'm excited and look forward to creating an improvement plan that includes alleviating the burden that law enforcement also carries around, the expectation around to be a social worker, counselor, or a mental health professional, and that is on top of responding to a crime as it occurs. So I really think that we need to come up with a holistic plan that first and foremost heals the community together with law enforcement, and then really helps everyone. I think public safety is public safety, is keeping the public safe. So I'm really excited. I know a lot of people, when they hear, reimagining public safety, a lot of people think about like defunding or this and that, but everybody cares about their safety, and that safety is law enforcement also. So I think that people don't mean get rid of law enforcement completely. I think people are crying for is to figure out ways to reinvest or invest in other programs that also help law enforcement do their job meaningfully without taking on so many roles and stressing and then ending up harming somebody's child, for no reason. So I think that's what it means. And if we want to talk about defunding, I think we've been defunding education programs in Oregon. We've been defunding public health services in Washington County. So I don't think people are saying defund the police, because everybody cares about their safety. And that safety equation includes law enforcement. I live in an unincorporated areas of Washington County, and if somebody said we're going to get rid of the sheriff, which is the only law enforcement I have as an unincorporated, I'll be the first one to say, wait a minute, what about my safety? Who's going to help me and who's going to protect me? So I don't think people are saying that. It's just it's the idea of stopping Black moms losing their children. That's what a reimagining public safety means. And that's how, we should try to approach this conversation, is how can I help Black moms not lose their children, their Black children, to in the hands of law enforcement. So I'm really excited of, centering my experience and my children, and carving path forward. I think we can heal together, because I'm a firm believer of, trauma that's acknowledged is a trauma that can be healed. So acknowledging that law enforcement and the dynamics that exist when it comes to Black boys and Black men, I think we can heal.
Well, I appreciate what you said, being a person of color. So again, I really like what you said, and your heart and how you want to help those, and also keep safety as a priority. What is your top priority if elected, and what are your plans to increase affordability housing in Washington County?
As a Washington County Commissioner, and my top priorities will be and are, as a candidate right now, tackling the affordable housing crisis, and addressing the root cause of poverty and leveling the playing field for everyone. We need to make sure that we need to have an ample amount of subsidized housing available, and we also need to create pathways to home ownership so that we can uplift people out of poverty and help people generate wealth. And my second priority, and everybody that lives in District 1, which is the Beaverton, Aloha area, and Cooper Mountain and Reedville, we have a issue with congestion. And so as a county commissioner, I want to work very hard to alleviate congestion for not only my district, but the county and hopefully region-wide, but mainly, roll up my sleeves around the county. And I want to, the reason why I want to alleviate congestion for Washington County is I want to make sure people are spending, less time on the roads and more time with their loved ones. And lastly, my third priority is to make sure Washington County is prosperous and inclusive and a safe place for everyone.
Great. So Nafisa, you said a lot, and like I said, I appreciate your words and your care and what you want to do for Washington County. How do we stay in contact with you?
Yes, good question. I'd like everyone to go to my website, and especially if you're a voter in my district, I would love everyone to vote for me and visit my website. My website is NafisaForWashingtonCounty.com, and I'm also on Facebook. You could just type, I think, in Nafisa Fai for Washington County as well, and I should be easily popped up, I hope. But if not, also the link is on my website to get to the Facebook. So yeah, contact me, and if you live in my district especially, and I'm on your ballot, please reach out to my campaign to deliver some yard signs, lawn signs, to hopefully to convince your neighbors to vote for me as well.
Well, you heard Nafisa Fai's her story, her life, and what she's planning to do if elected. We want to thank her for coming to the show. We want to thank you for watching and also listening to the show on cable radio. Have an awesome day.